leaving Turnout was really hard. I didn't want to go. And the rest of my mission took a very different turn after this city. I had some personal medical stuff that was kind of holding me back and from being 100%, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. I didn't want that to stop me. And so now I made it up to my fourth city of Lelystad, and it's another little city, another little branch. So Lelystad is a very new city. Back in, I believe, the late 60s, early 70s. It's a man-made city. They went in and built it up from under the water and built a huge, wall and just kind of, it's just this man-made city. And I'll be perfectly honest, it's not the prettiest city in the world. It's just it's very blocky. All the houses are just look like long blocks and just very, very dull. And that was kind of my first impression of when I got there was, oh my goodness, like this is kind of a gloomy place and very run down, and it just was really, really hesitant about, okay, how long am I going to be here? And again, with the things that I was going through, little things just kind of brought me down really easily. But it turned out to be quite the opposite. Lelystad was the hardest place for me to leave. A very tiny, tiny branch, and just people with, again, a heart of gold, and members who, they had their own struggles, but they all worked together. They all were a family, and I will be forever grateful for the family that I have in Lelystad. Nortje de Graaf, her son was on a mission, and so she was really missing him, and so we were over at her house all the time, and she would call to make sure we were okay and made sure we were eating. And the Relief Society president, Joyce, just had a baby, and we were, her second counselors, and we were with her all the time, trying to make her calling easier, and helping her being a new mom. And there's so many more members, and Kobe, who she just was a mom to us. She just made sure we were fed and listened to us if we needed someone to talk to. And these members were just incredible. The city itself may seem kind of gloomy, but it's once you get to know the people that it comes alive, that it's very colorful, and even the people who aren't members you come in contact with, they are willing to listen. They will give you a few minutes of their time, and that's something that I loved about Lelystad. The work was really slow, and when I was there, and just trying to work with less actives, we had some investigators, and we're working really hard with them and making some progress. But because Lelystad was so tiny and such a new city, that I had almost knocked the entire city in the 2 transfers that I was there. And so it just kind of felt like we were beating a dead horse, and so we decided that we really needed to focus on the members, and that they needed just as much attention and love as investigators do. And it's so interesting, the lessons that you learn in different cities. And for the reason that you come to learn of why you're sent somewhere. The things that I was going through in my last city definitely played a huge role into what I would face in my next city, in Lelystad. And, there's things that I still face with now, but I would do it all again for the people, for having been able to relate to them on such a personal level. And I am forever thankful for another young girl named Charlie, who was baptized earlier in 2016, earlier this year, I believe. And she just struggled with a lot of health things, a lot of relationship things. She just was really struggling. And Charlie and I became sisters, and we just understood each other. I felt such a huge desire and motivation that everything that I was going through was for her, so that she didn't feel alone. And I tried so very hard to be what she needed to be. And if she needed to call in the middle of the night, that I would have the phone on loud so that she could call. And it's just amazing to see how your heart changes, and how all you want to do is be something for someone else. And when I got the transfer call that I was leaving, it was very unexpected. Because all my other cities, I was there for 3 transfers, and I only had 1 transfer left. And after having talking to the mission president and things, that I thought I was staying. And so I was pretty confident, sure, that I wasn't leaving. And but the call came, and that I was leaving, and I was devastated. I was really heartbroken, and it felt that like my time there wasn't done. I still, there were still things that I wanted to see happen. And I remember that testimony meet. It was a testimony meeting, and they had asked my companion and I to both share a testimony since we were both leaving. And I got up there, and I kind of made a joke about, all right, well, see you later, and just kind of like pretended to walk away without saying anything. And I came back, and I just stood there and I cried for a solid minute or 2 before I actually spoke. And I still felt like a brand new missionary, and I was on my 11th transfer in the land. I still felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I still felt like there was so much more for me to do, and I felt at home. People in Lelystad became my family, and I wasn't ready to leave them. And I think up until, this point, I had spent my mission serving other people. Obviously, that's what a missionary does. That's the whole point of you going, is to share the gospel and to reach and try to share your testimony with as many people as possible. But up until this point, that's what it was, as I was so focused on other people and my companion and the members, that when I was in turnout and now in Lelystad, Heavenly Father really changed the plan of my mission and focused it a lot on me. And that may sound selfish or prideful, but I learned a valuable lesson, that the missionary is just as important as the people that you are trying to serve. And I felt more that these people in Lelystad were my missionaries, that they were the ones that were taking care of me. And I wouldn't be who I am sitting here right now without Joyce and Charlie and Kobe and Norcha. For them, I am forever thankful for the influence that they had in my life. And so it made it really hard to leave.